right, folks, well, welcome on in. It is week 23 of COVID. No, it's not week 23. It might feel like that, though. It kind of winds up a little bit here and there.
How are we going?
Yeah, I got Jackson. He's like, for real? 23 weeks already? What you need today. Hey, you guys are going to need a pillow today. You're going to want a big, heavy weight. So I definitely like to fill up my bag with a few items, and this gets it pretty good and heavy. So I throw some big, heavy books in there. And you're still going to need those two moderate weights for doing our 222s, and moderate weights could come in handy to a few other parts as well. I tend to prefer like the water bottles is a good at-home option on that. 222s are the only thing that stay the same today. All of our other movements have recycled through, including our core 3. We've got the pyramid stuff, we've got the extended Tabatas, and from there we'll kind of just get ready to roll. If you got some music you'd like to put on in the background, I suggest you do so at this point. If you got any injuries, be safe with what you're doing, and don't be afraid to substitute if necessary. All right, so we've got new warm-ups. Let's go ahead and start standing for our warm-ups today, everybody. We're going to start out with what is labeled in my world, the fitness industry, the world's greatest stretch. It's a stretch we do all the time. We're going to start with your feet together. With one foot, we're taking a really big step back, and that way we can put that hand to the floor. Okay? From here, we open up, we get that top arm to raise and pull back. Then we bring it down, and we're going to work on standing through that forward heel, so we get some strength out of that forward leg each time at the top of this. Now this is a movement that I don't need you to do quickly at all. I want you to just work on that big extension step, that nice opening of the hand, and then everything coming down and standing tall. We got 3 more. Also, our warm-up movements in general are going to be a little shorter for the next couple weeks, so we've got 4 movements that we're working through. And then once we're done with that, we'll be going straight into the 222s to follow. All right. So next up, we do our archer squat, and this was one of our mobility moves we did a week or 2 back. You're going to have your feet real wide. You're going to sit back and down to one of the sides. That side hand is going to lightly push against the knee outward, and your inside hand lifts up and you look at it. You come back up nice and tall. You switch it on over. You find a little bit of a good seat into each side, and you find your eyes looking up at that nice reaching arm up top. All right, if we're putting the breathing to it, we breathe in and bring it down. Breathe out, bring it up. Let's go one more. Inhale down. Exhale up. All right, from there, we get into our third movement, which is a single leg deadlift, and we're going to be doing a little extension after we do the deadlift. So keep your hands in as we start the deadlift. We're going to lift one foot behind you. Hold that T position. Now reach the arms out. Bring them back in and stand up tall. Switch, opposite side. Practice going into it, nice extension, back in, and tall. More manageable approach, we're just tilting a little bit through that hip line and still allowing yourself an opportunity to find hip hinging. That's really the characteristic that we're looking for here, is getting a hinge through that hip, not too worried about what the knees are doing through this. All right, we got one more, last one, folks. All right, from here, come down to the plank position on the floor. We're going to be working some rotating planks to finish this up. So we want to make sure that those hands are in good placement. We're going to open to one side. Once again, pull that top arm a little backwards, bring it down, and switch it over. Now this time we're putting more strain into that single arm, so feel that shoulder in control, kind of holding things in place nice and strong. Let's continue to make sure our hips are never sagging into this movement. All right, bring it down. We got last one. All right, so come down to the floor. You can bend your knees. I want you to grab your 2 moderate weights and bring them underneath, because we're going to get going straight into the 222s from here. So both weights under, and we're going to start out with those 2 Renegade rows. Then we're going to get into the 2 heel lifts from the plank. We go squats and lunges after that. We start in 3, in 2, in 1. 1 minute here, and as you notice with Jackson, does a really good job of keeping the body still, right? Through the planks, can you stay still? You stand up, you bring the weights up in front of you, you got your 2 squats, and then 1 lunge on each side. 1 step back lunge on each. Remember, try to keep those lunges a little condensed. Don't extend too far back. You bring it back down. Remember, we can be on the knees as a good option through this as well. So even as we're on the knees through here, we can get 1 row, 2 rows, 1 heel lift, 2 heel lifts before we step it up. Bring those weights with us. 2 lunges. Keeping them slightly condensed. Don't overextend. Back down to the floor. We got about 10 seconds remaining here. After this, we're going to stay on the floor for your mobility move coming up next. 3, 2, 1. Bend your knees and come onto your back. Next up, we're going to start on our sides. So we're going to face the mirror, or face the camera together. We're going to stack our knees as well as our elbows. We're going to start by opening the hip and then opening the arm and turning so you get to a center pause point, and then you roll to the opposite side. So each time when you get to that center point, hold it for a second before you rotate to the next. Open, center, close. Open, center, close. Last few. 3, 2, 1. Now 10 seconds, our next movement, we start core 3, which is a crab walk with an opposite hand and foot touch. We start in 3, in 2, in 1. More manageable approach, we're pressing up with the hips and coming back to the floor. Once again, more manageable approach is here with that hip press, coming back to the floor. Otherwise, you're reaching for that opposite foot in front. All right, 10 seconds, and we're going to stay onto our back and do a hollow hold to follow. In 3, 2, 1, lower to your back, bring your hands and feet up. You're going to do a little side crunch to one side, just like last week, then a little to the opposite side. It's very little side-to-side movement. It's a lot of low back press. Eyes should be up at the ceiling. Okay, once we're done with this, we're going to flip around and get into our plank position. Get into your plank position in 3, 2, 1. Now, look at us as you're in your plank position, and we're going to show you what we're doing with the shoulders. We're going to start by retracting the shoulder blades quite a bit. Now we're going to extend through those shoulder blades. Everyone practice this. Retract those shoulder blades, extend through those shoulder blades. Should be maybe about a good couple inches of movement, the body dropping down and then extending away from the floor. Finished in 3, in 2, in 1. You can bend your knees, you can rest, you can high five somebody. You're officially warm. You're welcome. You've done a great job out there. Jackson and I got the pyramid coming up next, so we got 6 movements that we're going to show you pretty briskly, and then we're going to be rocking through it. Your first movement is weight optional. Your second and third movement, you'll be using at least a moderate weight, if not a heavy weight. So exercise number 1, you can play along with us and do some of these at home if you'd like. Hands are behind your head. We get into a squat position. At the top of our squat, we're now going to go that opposite elbow to knee crunch, kind of that bicycle crunch. Sit into it, reverse it, and we'll switch the side with each of these squats and turns. You've got it. So that's exercise number 1 for 1 minute time. Exercise number 2, we're going to work on some single leg balance and having a weight up above the head. So what I want through here is one leg, your right leg extended, that weight up into the air and rotating around the body in one direction. Okay, now after about a halfway point, I'm going to cue you to bend your elbows if you got that capability, just so we can put a little variety into what we're doing. That's exercise number 2. Exercise number 3, you can keep that heavier weight, but we're going to do some corner stepping lunges. So weight in front of you, step forward but to one corner, extend the weight, bring it back in, and step back up. Switch to the next side, extend, bring it in, and stand. Woo! Maybe you got to practice your balance a little bit like me there. Once again, you don't need to step out very far, keep it slightly condensed. After that, we switch to the pillow. We come to the floor. Our next 2 movements use the pillow. We're going to have the pillow between our legs for both the movements. We're going to have the arms out into a full body crunch, legs out, but feet together. Bring it on in, extend back out. Breathe out as you crunch, Breathe in as you extend. All right, from here, feet go to the floor. We do a hip press, and we're going to do a single leg extension, maintaining the hip press the whole time, keeping that pillow between the knees the whole time. Our final movement, we ditch the pillow, we turn ourselves around, we get into a plank position, and then from there, we walk it way out into an extended plank, and we hold it for 10 seconds. Go ahead and bend your knees, rest. So that is the top to our pyramid. We're going to get you guys started. Once again, weight is optional for that squat and that bicycle crunch coming up here first. Make sure you got a good weight around you. Make sure you got a good pillow ready to go. And we'll get you started here momentarily. All right, so 10 seconds is our go time. Let's get ourselves set up into a good squat position. We got the hands behind the head. We start in 3, in 2, in 1. We get that opposite elbow to knee crunch. We got 1 minute on our clocks here. And if you're feeling good, you're welcome to always push tempo. However, early on, I think it's key just to find your balance first. Make sure that you can really nail this movement as we're going through it. Good, as you crunch, you breathe out. That's where we want kind of that good breathing pattern to be. And as you come back up at the top each time, your eyes are forward. You're feeling your back muscles by pulling those elbows back a little bit. We find some crunch as well as some pull back at the top. We got about 20 seconds. 20 seconds, we've got a 15-second rest to follow. All right, last 10. Once again, always welcome to change tempo, whether that's slower or faster at any point. 3, 2, 1. Now, you could go moderate weight or you could go heavy weight on this balanced hold next. Wherever you start, your right leg is lifted straight out to the side. The weight is going to be above you. You're going to do circles around the head. We get started in 3, in 2, in 1. So Jackson and I are not doing big circles around our head. Right? We're kind of pretty controlled through what's going on. If you needed to, you could always just lightly tap maybe your big toe to the floor as a moderate option. You could bend your elbows and just kind of take this and hover it around more at the top of the head. And then as that next option, I'm going to see if you can kind of start to rotate this bag around the top of the shoulders and around the neck and the head. Okay, so kind of working on that. Maybe that starts to play with the challenge, the balance. Remember, if you're having a little trouble balancing, just smile. It'll help. Maybe. Belly tight, steady breathing. We go finished in 3, in 2, in 1. Keep the weight. We've got the corner stepping lunge and the press next. We go to both sides. All right, have that weight in front. I do want heavy if possible on this. In 3, in 2, in 1. Corner step, extension out, bring it in and stand switch. So with each of those, switch your sides. And remember, I'm not stepping way out. You'll notice both Jackson and I do a good job of kind of allowing that knee to get almost as far as the toes. Right? You can kind of play with that into these lunges. And this is also going to become important later on today when we get into that Bulgarian split squat. Kind of same alignment we'll be looking for with that. 10 seconds. When we're done with this, we're going to put the weight down and grab a pillow and go to the floor. In 3, in 2, in 1. Go ahead and put the weight down. Transfer a pillow in between the knees. Next up is our full body crunch with the pillow between the legs. We're going to go all the way out and bring it in. We're going to get started in 3, in 2, in 1. Now, a more manageable approach, you could lightly tap your heels to the floor. Okay, you still bring it in. And if you want to extend a little further out with the legs, that's where you can challenge things in those more manageable options. Our following movement will keep the pillow. So we've got 2 movements in a row here with the pillow between the knees. Finished up in 3, in 2, in 1. Next up, keep the pillow there. Push your hips off the floor and give us a single leg extension on each of the sides. 3, 2, 1. So you're working on your hands pushing downward. Okay, feel your butt working, feel your hips working. More manageable approach, we can also just go down and up for that press. Both feet flat on the floor for that more manageable option. After this, we're going to turn around and go plank in 2, in 1. Turn it around. Give me a huge extended plank from here. We get started in 3, in 2, in 1. Now, as you're doing a good extended plank, I don't want the butt up high. I want that straight line with the body. Finished in 3, in 2, in 1. Bend the knees and rest. Nicely done, folks. I think that warm-up is continuing around here. Now we got to the top of the pyramid. I mean, it's beautiful sights, but it's time to come back down. I realized, I'm going to start changing my geography, so I think we just climbed a Guatemalan pyramid today.
Oh yeah, sure.
Tikal, all of us. Checking out Tikal. All right, so you got to redo the plank is where we're going to start at the top of the pyramid and work our way back down. So I want you on the floor. If you need any water, grab it now, but you're going to be walking out to that extended plank as your start point. All right, 10 seconds when we get there. Let's get you down to plank position. Let's walk those hands out. We get started in 3, in 2, in 1. We got 10 seconds. Big extension through those arms. Still strong body. 3, 2, 1. That's good. Grab the pillow. Put it between the legs. You go the hip press with the leg extensions. We start in 3, in 2, in 1. Now, more manageable approach. Keeps the pillow there, but uses both feet. Get that hip press going. We're going to keep the pillow between the legs for the following movement. 3, 2, 1. Next up is the full body crunch, all the way out, all the way in, keeping the pillow between the knees. We start in 3, in 2, in 1. More manageable approach. I'm here showing you that you could tap the heels to the floor and bring everything back in. You can play around with how far those legs extend as your challenge points. Ten seconds. After this, we stand and go to those corner stepping lunges. We're grabbing a weight in 3, in 2, in 1. Stand up quickly. Grab yourself a weight. Make sure you got room to step in front into a corner in 3, in 2, in 1. Step it, press it, bring it in, switch it up. A condensed step. We don't need to make a big step going forward. And keep more power into that forward leg as we go through there. More manageable approach, smaller steps, not as much depth into those lunges. You got it, my man. Jackson does a really good job of keeping his breathing consistent. I want you all to practice where your breath works well on this. Where do you breathe out well? Go finished up in 3, in 2, in 1. Keep the weight. This time we're balancing with our left leg up into the air. And we're going to go around the head. Okay? We're not there yet. We've got about 5 more, 6 more seconds. 3, 2, 1. Now try to think which way you rotate it around the head. Try to switch it. Try to make sure it is that opposite direction. Once again, more manageable approach. We can have the elbows bent. You could have a toe to the floor as a manageable approach here. And then once we've done a few of these, if you'd like to create some change and variety, have that bag or that weight wrapping around the top of the shoulders, around the head and neck. All right, smooth breathing. You got about 10 seconds left here. After this, the weight goes down. You might grab 2 moderate weights, but it's squat with that bicycle crunch. 3, 2, 1. Let's put the weight down. Last movement of our pyramid is going to be the squats to the crunches, and we've got 2 2-2s to follow, so we're not out of the woods yet here. Hands behind you. At the top, we pull the elbows back. Squat and crunch. 2, 1. Let's get going. 1 minute of a good squat, 1 minute of a nice crunch and balance at the top of each squat. And as you go elbow to knee, that's where that breathe out happens. More manageable approach, we go quarter squat, not quite as low, and we definitely still work on that balanced rotation at the top of things. All right, we got ourselves about 20 seconds, 20 seconds. If you're feeling good, feel free to pick the pace up. If you need to keep it a little slow, if you're working through it, keep grinding here, folks. About 10 more seconds. All right, we go finished up in 3, in 2, in 1. I need you to have those 2 weights close by, 2 manageable weights. Bring them down to the floor, 2 moderate weights, excuse me. 2 2s, we start them in 15 seconds. Take a moment. I'm going to start out from that plank position with Renegade rows, followed by heel lifts. All right, we get started in 3, in 2, in 1. 2 rows, keep that body still. 2 heel lifts, keep that body still. Awesome, step it up, give me 2 nice squats from here. Weights in front, so we get that extra challenge, kind of that front squat style. Keep the weights there, do the 2 lunges. Excellent, and step it back to the floor. 2 smooth rows. Remember, feet wide for those rows. Going to help you stay balanced better. Step it up, bring it up. Hold it there. Boom, use those heels when we're in squats and lunges. Use those heels, folks. Back to that floor. Got ourselves 15 seconds remaining. Keep knocking those 2s out, folks. After this, we're going to go onto our back for our mobility movement. 3, 2, and 1. Put the weights down. Come down onto your side. Stack your knees. Stack your elbows. We're going to open everything up and come to center. We're going to hold it at center for a moment and then rotate to the opposite side. Open, hold, close. All right, so part of this is we get some back activity, right? We're here on that center point. You should feel your shoulders, your back, as well as your butt muscles connected down to the floor. All right, after this, we're going to go crab walks to start our core 3. We finish this in 3, in 2, in 1. Go ahead and sit up. Get to a point where your hands can sit behind you nicely, where we can tap an opposite hand and foot in 3, in 2, in 1. Here's your core 3, right? Work on control, folks. Work on control. If you need to, that more manageable approach is hip presses, butt drops to the floor. We get extension through those back shoulder muscles, through those heels, and through that low back. Love it. Jackson's breathing out with every crunch. That's what I'm looking for you to do at home. Hollow hold starts in 3, 2, 1. Get onto the back. Feet and hands into the air. Little side crunch to 1. Center. Little side crunch to the next. Center again. Okay, more manageable approach. 1 foot down to the floor. Pick your right foot and bring it down to the floor if you need that more manageable approach here. We're going to finish with planks, and we're going to have that shoulder movement with our planks. We start planks in 3, in 2, in 1. Go ahead and bring yourself up to a regular plank. Sink the chest to the floor. Let your shoulder blades kind of drop, and now extend and press away from the floor. Sink it down, press it up. So as you press up, should be a little bit of those lat muscles here, helping push you back up. Should engage some of the chest in front to get that press. 3, 2, and 1. Bend your knees, take a break, everybody. High five somebody cool around you. Oh, nicely done. Nicely done. Halfway point. Officially there.
Thanks for letting me turn your room into a sweat lodge again.
The sweat lodge continues around here. I have to fumigate this place eventually. All right, so we've got extended Tabatas early on in our Tabatas here. The first two movements, so kind of our first four overall, they pack a powerful punch. So get ready for those first four, and then the second half I feel like should be a little bit smoother as far as heart rate is concerned. Let's go over what we're doing. If you want to play along with us, please do so. We're going to start out with one heavy weight, and this is our side rotation from a split stance, so our oblique lift. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have my left foot forward so that you guys can get a good visual at home. We're going to be on the back toes, and you'll notice that our knee stays stacked on our ankle right here. This is our good split stance. Top of the body comes down. I like the weight to be in front. We're going to open it out to one side and slowly release it back down. Okay, so it's a lift, a small hold, and a slow release. That. Exercise number 3 and 4 is a Bulgarian split squat. Our old friend is back. So we're looking for an elevated surface, or you can also be in a split lunge position. I'm going to show your moderate split lunge position. Jackson's going to be head on with your Bulgarian split squat. Weight is optional. You can put down a weight if you'd like. We want you to lower down onto that forward heel and press up and get tall through that forward leg. Once that's done, we're going to put down the weight. We're going to get into some punches. We're going to get ourselves into a good athletic stance. Fists of fury flying from those ribs. Breathing out as you punch. And you're finding a good focal point as you're punching as well. After that, we bring it down to the floor. We're going to be on our bellies. We're going to get into a Superman position. We're going to do a little lat pull down with that. So lift everything up, hands and feet. Pull the elbows down to the ribs. Reach back out and lower back down. We get that combo again. Lift, pull down, reach out, and back to the floor. Now our final movement, we need one weight, probably a moderate, if not even a heavy weight to be close by us. We're going to get into our bird dog position with one hand holding a weight. So that means whatever hand is holding the weight, the other leg is extended bird dog style. And we're going to make a W, kind of keeping that elbow close by, happen with that weighted pull. Eyes stay down on the mat. We pull up, smooth release coming back down. So by keeping that elbow and that weight a little closer to the body, you're going to be a little safer onto that shoulder. And you're going to require that lat to do a lot of good work here. All right, so first up, you need a heavy weight. And that's going to be for the split stance, oblique lifts coming up. We start in 10 seconds, folks. So I want a big split stance. Your weight in that forward leg. Weight in front. 3, 2, 1. I'm going to drop with control coming back down. Good lift, little hold, and that beautiful control coming back down. Really, really control this. Continue to find some consistency into your breathing here. 10 seconds on this side. We should be feeling that inside oblique. 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and switch that stance. Put your weight into the next forward heel. Good split. We start in 3, in 2, in 1. Okay, rotate, lift, hold, slow, coming down. Rotate, lift, hold, slow. That's your key, folks. Jackson's doing a great job keeping a flat back. Everybody pay attention to your back. I do not want you rounded here. Keep those shoulder blades down, you keep those lats active, and you keep yourself safe by doing so. Finished in 3, in 2, in 1. You can drop the weight if you want. Bulgarian split squat next. I'm going to do your standing option with the weight in front. In 3, in 2, in 1. We control the down. Drive up with strength through that forward heel. Excellent. This should be a powerful movement. Why don't you step back just a tiny bit? Bingo. That's plenty good. And so you'll notice what I just coached Jackson to do is to make his stance a little more condensed as he's going up and down through it. Right? So figure out where that works best. What I don't want you is doing a big extended lunge right here. We don't need that. Finished up in 3, in 2, in 1. Let's go ahead and switch the sides. We doing all right, my man?
Yeah.
Very good. All right, right back to it. We start in 3, in 2, in 1. We find control in the beginning. Excellent. Now, Jackson, I'm going to coach him to have the knee out just the tiniest bit. If I can pull that right knee just the tiniest bit to the right side, the hip's going to come a lot more active. And this starts erasing our classic deviation of an inward bowing knee. All right, think about pulling it a little bit to the outside. Finished up in 3, in 2, in 1. The weight goes down. We stay standing. We've got punches next. Athletic position, fists right at the sides of those ribs. 2, 1. One strong punch. Try to make it quick. Try to make it clean. And breathe out. Quick little breath out with each punch. Should sound like perfect. You hear this constantly if you go by a karate studio or a boxing studio. That's it's there for a reason. It keeps the oxygen coming in and going out. Finished up in 3, in 2, in 1. Bring it to the floor. You're flat on your stomach. You got your Superman lift, your lat pull down. Everything lifts in 3, 2, 1. Pull the elbows back down, extend back out, and release back. There we go. You find your rhythm to what we're doing. You find the strength throughout the back. Feel your low back assisting in this. The middle back. Let's make this entirety of the back side. 3, 2, 1. Have a weight under your right hand. Bird dog position. Your left leg extends behind you and W pulls on that right side. In 2, in 1. Let's get it going. Think control. And I've coached you through this before with your bird dog. We don't want this hip, this extended leg, to be raising up, right? We want to keep parallel as best we can from that right side to the left. There we go. Elbow stays close by. Weight stays close by. We don't need big extensions into this one. 3, 2, 1. Next side starts. Get ready for it. You're going to have your right leg extended out in 3, 2, 1. Get going. And control this, right? Big stabilizing type of movement. We've got some nice back strength kicked into it as well as that stability. Good. Smooth as we can. You got about 10 seconds remaining. Yeah, last little bit. Finished up in 3, in 2, in 1. Rest, recover. Woo!
Wow, those last ones were a lot harder than I thought.
They fire it up. Yeah. All of a sudden you put a random leg into things and it changes.
Pulls more into some of its parts.
Woo! Do the old dog on a fire hydrant movement and there you go. All right, folks. Well, we got one more round. You got those extended tabatas, and you know for that last round we're going to tack on the 2-2-2s. This is the end coming up. I want you to get hydrated if you need it into you. I want you to find a good inhale in. I want you to find a great exhale out. And let's get ready to rock our final round coming up. All right. So we get started in 10. We get started in 10, or as soon as my thing starts for 10. There we go. There's our official 10 start. So we're going to start split stance, heavy weight. We start in 3, in 2, in 1. Lift and hold with that slow release back down. And control it all the way through. Now with that forward leg, keep that knee grounded on top of the ankle, on top of the foot. Find strength in that stance. Solidly done, solidly done. He's on the toes in the back, so the balance has a lot to work through. Finished up in 3, in 2, in 1. Switch it. Next side, powerful in the front. That's your balance. We start in 3, in 2, in 1. Lift it, control it down. There we go. Find that good, smooth movement. Ground that heel. If you're losing it a little bit, just reset. Don't be afraid to take little breaks throughout this. Perfect. Bending your elbows can make things slightly easier as well. Okay, split squats in 3, 2, 1. Find that elevated surface behind you. Split those feet, but don't go too wide. Weight in front if you want. 3, 2, 1. Bring it down. Drive up nice and strong. And so once again, I've got that more moderate approach of keeping just that back foot on the floor and working through split lunges here. Nicely done. A lot of strength, a lot of stability, and that knee staying a little bit out, a little bit to that outside to keep you safe and strong. In 3, in 2, in 1. That's good. Switch it over. Next side. Set it. Get going in 3, in 2, in 1. Show me control. That first 1 or 2 might be a little squirrely. That's okay. Practice this. That's all we're here for, is practice today. Practice getting stronger. Practice our balance. Practice some cardio. A little heart rate, a little muscle fatigue. 10 seconds. Love it. All right, and we go finished up in 3, in 2, in 1. Let's put the weight down. We go punches next. Athletic position here. We got fists at the ribs. We get started in 3, in 2, in 1. So one good punch at a time, right? Quick and strong. You got that focal point. We're using hand-eye coordination right now. We're connecting from that point visually with that fist. Good. Use those core muscles right here. Feel those core muscles, especially with that rapid breathing. Those core muscles are working more. Last few. Finished up in 3, in 2, in 1. Come flat to the floor on your belly. Outstretched arms. We go lift and lat pull down. In 3, in 2, in 1. Everything pulls in, extends out, and controls back down. Nice. This is your final opportunity for some good back work here today. Maximize it, feel it, find it. 10 seconds. After this, it's bird dog position with those W lifts. Finished in 3, in 2, in 1. Bring yourself to bird dog position. Right hand has the weight underneath it. Left leg is extended. Start in 3, in 2, in 1. Control the motion. As you lift up, breathe out. Now this can be done with body weight. A-okay to do this with body weight as well. And you're thinking that left leg, that hip is not lifting too high. Keep it a little parallel to the floor, folks. Last bit, finished up in 3, in 2, in 1. Let's switch those sides. All right, we get started. 3, 2, 1. Create the smooth lift and that smooth lowering. Lock things in. Control what you're doing. Man, you sure are working hard over there, Jackson. I'm getting sweaty just watching you.
Taking it easy for all of us.
Yeah, I've got to. You guys are challenging me today. All right, we got last few. Finished up in 3, in 2, in 1. That's good. Now we've got mobility, or we've got 2-2-2s before we're all wrapped. So what I need you to do is grab those 2 moderate weights, have them underneath you. I'm going to reset our clock. Not just yet. You guys got a few moments, right? There we go. Jackson's getting a nice stretch. He's feeling a few cat-cows out. We've officially got 10 seconds. So Renegade rows is where we start. Heel lifts is where we follow. We get started in 3, in 2, in 1. 2 smooth lifts. Then to the heels. Body staying still. Step it up. Give me good squats. Weights in front. Press through those heels. Love it. 2 lunges, 1 on each. Back down. Renegade rows, feet wide for that plank. Provide more stability through that wide stance. 2 heel lifts. Step it on up. Bring those weights up with you. 2 nice squats. And the last 2 lunges. Back to that floor. Stabilized lunges. I know sometimes we get squirrely through them. Everything controlled. Hear me say this again and again. I say it for reasons. All right, 10 more seconds. After this, we go on our back for our mobility movement. 3, 2, 1. Put those weights down. Start onto one side with those knees and elbows stacked. We're going to open up, get to that center point, and then close it up to the next side. Open up, hold it, switch it. Feel how your hip, your top hip, becomes a prime opener here. All right. We want the outside of that hip to be nice and active. After this, we're going to stay seated. We're going to get into our crab walk, opposite hand and foot taps. 3, 2, 1. Go ahead and sit up. Bring your hands behind your shoulders. Have your feet a little wide. Opposite hand and foot taps. We start in 3, in 2, in 1. Got 30 here. Folks, you got 1:30 left in your workout. I want you to focus. I want you to give me the best that you can right here. Work on stabilizing. Work on breathing. Maybe smile a little bit while you're there, right? I mean, we're just being goofs. What kind of silly things are we doing? Pretending we're crabs right now? Come on, man. You live in Santa Cruz or something? All right, in 3, in 2, in 1. Next up is your hollow hold. So come on down onto the back. Feet and hands there with those little side crunches. Now we're just pretending like we're starfish. Or backward starfish, maybe.
How'd you know I studied marine science?
Jackson is a Marine man by trade. He does not do these fitness classes as a full-time job. All right, last few finished in 3, in 2, in 1. Turn it around, give me plank position. Work on that shoulder retraction, and then that extension. A little bit of drop, a little bit of press away from the floor. And as you push up, you're breathing out. Could even be on the knees for this as well. Nice. Find that drop. Find that press. We go finished up in 3, in 2, in 1. Bend those knees. Take a break, everybody. You all treat yourself to a little bit of that water, that H2O stuff. It's good for you. And then we're going to get into a little stretchy time after that. Nicely done, folks. What do you think, Jackson? Is that a top 5 tough workout so far?
Uh-huh.
You know, I think these 222s, they're definitely bringing things to that next level.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It turns it into more of an all gas, no brakes situation.
All gas, no. That sounds reckless. I don't think we're necessarily reckless for what we're doing. Not yet. If you think I'm reckless, you guys just let me know out there. It's never my intentions around here. All right, so let's do this. Everybody on your backs, let's reach those arms out, and let's kick into some of that nice deep breathing here. All right, let's give you a little opportunity to now unwind. Let's give you some opportunity to really just find a big inhale that fills the body up, and have a long exhale so we can take the energy from that exercise. And we can start putting into our mental approach of relaxing as well as our physical here. All right. Let's go nice big inhale once more. Belly rises up. Nice long exhale. Okay, right leg comes up. Hands go behind it. If you'd like, you're welcome to kind of move that foot around a little bit. You could also play around with how straight the leg is. Maybe the knee's a little bent. Maybe your other knee is bent, and that's always okay as well. So today I want to talk to all of us about, I was reading a little article on nutrition. Let's go ahead and switch where that leg goes a little to the left side, but we still have that playful foot. Reading an article that was discussing ways to be successful in quarantine, and their strategies was eat simply, and I thought, yeah, I like that. And then I thought a little bit more in depth about why not, the term of live simply and how that can expand into more sections of day-to-day life. Let's go ahead and let the elbow bend. We're going to bring it across to the left side. Your right arm is going to reach to the right side. You're going to try to keep that right shoulder in touch with the floor, please. And, just like a little personal note in my life, some of you may know that my mother passed away about 12 years ago. But one of the things that my mom always did was she lived simply. And so that is something that has rubbed off on me over the years. Let's go ahead and unwind, and we're going to go to our left leg being up next. Hands behind it, and once again, a little playful with that foot up top there. So it kind of struck a chord with me to say, why not discuss kind of the different facets of how living simply and eating simply can be really beneficial to us. Let's go ahead and have that foot just move a little over to the right side. Once again, continue to be kind of playful with that foot through here. Once again, kick into your belly, breathe in, and that's a good way to get us to continue to relax here. And get that inhale in, long exhale out. We're going to allow the knee to bend. We're going to bring that leg across. We're going to reach over to that left side. So let's talk first about that little blurb on eat simply first. A great way and something that I always try to tell you guys is that if you're cooking at home, you likely know the ingredients of the things that you're putting into your food. Right? And so there's a simplification of the ingredients involved into your food. Whereas if you buy something that's from the store, maybe pre-packaged, there's some additives that you may or may not be familiar with through there. Let's go ahead and unwind. We're going to get into our butterfly stretch next. I'm going to be seated upright. Jackson's more than likely going to stay on his back, depending on how he's feeling. If you are seated upright with me, let's get tall through that spine and allow those knees to really get a nice downward press through that. So, first off, if you're cooking at home, that's a really great way to, notice that the ingredients are usually a little bit smaller and to know every ingredient that's going into your food. It also allows you to taste more of the natural flavors of your food. And generally, as we're exposed to more kind of refined grains and refined sugars in that, our body has a taste for that kind of sensationalized high point of flavor, and we lose a little bit of kind of the appreciation of our more subtle natural flavors in our world around us. Nice big inhale in, nice long exhale out, and let's go ahead and get into a kneeling position next. So left knee will be down, we'll get your right foot out in front, get a little bit of that good stretch here. If you'd like, you're welcome to bring that left hand up, hold through that point. And then one more thing about just eating at home is that you're more invested into your food. It's your creation, right? So you kind of know, not only do you know what's going on, but you're kind of the one who's being an artist in the kitchen and seeing what works well through there. So that's kind of some fun bits of living simply but eating simply through that. And I kind of thought about myself and thought, well, I always kind of have rules in my mind that help me follow a strict guideline, which is I always eat some veggies with a meal. Try to find a way to make that happen. Or I always drink good amounts of water in the day. And as I tell myself these mantras too, they're simple mantras that keep me in good alignment. Let's go ahead and switch it over. Next side up. Now, as far as life in living simply, so many facets of things that we could go into, but here's a few. And the first off is that the approach of I'm living simply is basically just finding comfort in what you already have and realizing what you already have is likely enough to get you through whatever you truly need in life, right? And we have an abundance of things. We live in a first world country. We, have access to things like clean water and that. And a lot of times we don't find appreciation for that because it's expected within our world. Let's go ahead and bring it on down from here. Let's get into like a comfortable seated position, whatever works well for you, and we'll do a little bit of that side stretch. But what you have built in your home already likely consists of everything that you have and you need, right? And if you need some things here and there, so be it. I mean, that is part of life. But I think too often we get a little bit too caught up in consumerism, and you know, what we have can suffice, can get us through. Let's go ahead and switch it on over. And when you have that approach, when you do get something new, it's a whole lot sweeter. I promise you. Because then you've really, you know, taken the time to live without that and know what's required, and then you know how that product is going to make your life a lot better. Go ahead and inhale, come up, exhale. We're going to do a few neck rolls from here, so just one direction, maybe 3 or 4 neck rolls. So you can gain more enjoyment from life around you, right? When you're not going out and trying to buy, you know, specific things, and you're allowing things to come at you, you have more appreciation and kind of more enjoyment in each event because they're a little bit more of a surprise or a variation from what you truly need. All right, as we finish out, we're going to do a little bit of forearm stretching, so one arm out and pulling the fingers back towards the body. Stay relaxed into the neck. And then lastly, jumping off of a little bit of our financial health talk, the financial benefits of living simply are strong, right? Because you're keeping your consumerism down. Let's go ahead and switch over, opposite side through here. So you have less overhead, you have less stuff that needs less space, per se. You're avoiding paying for kind of those unnecessary items, and especially the ones that we buy and we never use. I mean, all of us are guilty of that, right? Go ahead and shake it on out, everybody. So the financial implications, and then we can even think the environmental implications of not purchasing things that we need too much of, because, you know, if the more that we buy, in the long run, the more ends up in our landfills. So I encourage you all to live a little simply in whatever ways speak to you. Jackson, you got any Live Simply knowledge drops on us?
You'll feel very proud of yourself when the younger generation tells you, wow, you're really living simply, you're really doing healthy things. Mm. I had that happen this weekend with a friend of mine's cousins, and it was amazing.
Yeah. There you go. I mean, model this stuff for younger generations. I started out by saying, you know, I learned this stuff from my mom. So maybe encourage that to our younger generations as well. Everybody, we'll see you on Thursday. Have yourself a wonderful week.